Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Honeydew Summer Showdown. I'm Alderia, as always, joined with Rhodes, and I'm excited to get into this matchup because we're watching a team that I personally have taken a lot of interest in, that being Boba Ball's Lever going up against RME.
Yeah, we have a very interesting matchup between two undefeated teams. RME, they've beaten New Genes and Chaos Seekers, and of course, last stream we saw Boba beat Honeydew, and on this map, Lotus. So I'm really interested to see what both of these undefeated teams can do against each other.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, we're hopping back into Lotus with Boba, and I'm just excited to see what that provides. The last time we got to see them play this match, they did extremely well, and then Army goes and picks it against them. So
Yeah,
I'm just
it's really interesting because I mean we know Boba can play really well on this map, and we haven't streamed you and I before RME. So I'm really interested to see the different comparisons off of what this team will do against Boba, where they showed a lot of aggressiveness and a lot of good plays, versus RME, which have really good potential in this league, which are already 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the player I'm going to be looking at a lot is Fosi. We saw him doing extremely well against Honeydew last time. Anybody you're particularly keeping an eye out for?
Personally, for me, I think my player to watch for today's series is Rudy Rojo's, a very hyper aggressive controller player. I think plays a very different style than what we're used to seeing from controllers, and I'm really interested to see how aggressive and how good they're going to be while they open up the map, or if they die trying to do it.
Yeah, I mean, especially on a controller like Omen, we've seen quite a bit of Omens in recent history definitely turn up the aggression and be a lot more comfortable taking just sort of raw aim duels and having the confidence of a lot of duelist players. So I'm interested to see how that's going to be translating into this match.
Yeah, and it looks like the attack side of Boba is going to be going towards C, where a lone Gigaberry is. We have four people pushing out for RME on the A side, so this could be really interesting as I think the team is going to look to rotate fast because I think they know that Boba is going towards that C side.
Yeah, Fufu getting some early contact, but not much is going to come up from it. But he's actually getting lurked up on from B
Yeah,
here, so he might lose his life. Only a shorty, though, so they're not really able to aggress too much. So Fufo should be able to hang on to his life and actually manages to pick up a kill as well onto Mr. C. That gives the early advantage, and it's just going to allow Boba to take the aggression into this C site, knowing that they can play the trades and the defenses are going to be stretched a little bit thin. Player that you were talking about just earlier TPs into the back of the site with a shorty, and Rudy is going to find this first kill for the defense, but it's traded back by Colo. Celio is just trying to hold on here, but it's not looking great. Utility coming in, and Fufu with the flank coming around is going to secure this round.
I mean, a very aggressive play from Rudy Rogers does find the one, but Fufu able to pick off the member in spawn, just hurting the flank of Mr. Seed from the side of RME, and then able to kill off the last two members with a lurk of their own through B, and just able to kill them at Waterfall, which is just a really good pick. But now I do have to talk about something with you, Al. We are on Lotus. This is
We
the
are on
second
Lotus.
round, and conversions have been very tricky when you and I are casting.
The worst part is, we've just been seeing it so much, and so I want to be like, surely not, but it's happened so consistently. Jiggly Tofu is going to get the first engagement, and CeeLo is going to trade one back, but Jiggly Tofu good for two, and Colo is going to also pick it up, so this should be a solid round here for the side of Boba.
You would think that Rojos could find something here. Gets me back. Almost an aggressive play, but Colo is going to easily pick him off.
Yeah, a little bit ambitious with that teleport, but not going to work out. They confirmed the location of the last player on RME, and so this should be everything good for the side of Boba. I mean, just a really good conversion from them. This is what you want to see, and certainly like
I mean, either way, it's what you want to see on a second round conversion.
Is it horrible that I'm just kind of hoping for it? I'm not gonna lie. I was stalling out, but I low-key kind of hope for those forced victories now. I'm not gonna lie.
It does feel like, in a way, that Boba just they like hear us sometimes, because they did get thriftied on Haven when we were casting them the other day, and it looks like they have cleaned up a bit their second round conversions, because it almost happened again against Honeydew, but they were just able to persevere and able to just, I mean, play the rounds very cleanly and not take anything off them. And I'm really interested right now because we do see a new player for the side of Boba as Colo. So far 5-0-2, and it looks like they've been playing very well.
Yeah, I mean, so far looking pretty well. Maybe a stand-in, or perhaps they're looking to mix things up in their roster. Like you said, so far a decent start, as going into this bonus round, Boba's already looking pretty solid. They've secured 2 kills and only lost fosi in the process, so if they are able to just play this man advantage, they could see themselves pulling off a bonus round, which will definitely be very good going into the rest of this map.
Definitely, as Jigglytofu does pick up the Guardian as well, so they do have 3 decent guns into RME. Where, I mean, Fufu, again, just has so much pushing potential up through C and has free C side. He's going to call over Jigglytofu, but they might get cut off by Cello through B. It's going to be really interesting, but it does look like they're going to back off and give sight, as, again, Fufu has a really good positioning here that could catch off RME.
Yeah, it looks like RME has no clue that Fufu is in the position that he's in. With the plant going down, they will be at least hopefully prepared for somebody playing this position. It's not uncommon for it to be taken, especially in a post plant. Looks like Gigaberry is going to be prepared for the swing and is going to collect Fufu so that it evens up the man count, which means Cello is getting confident to push onto the site, throws out the Dizzy to try and get a little bit of information on a little bit of initiation. Has the wingman for the spike, but is waiting it out just a little bit so that Nemesis can lurk up and get the kill. So now it's all up to the Dune players. Nemesis still pushing forward and is just going to keep on applying this pressure. Colo, it's going to have to be a 1v2, and it's not going to happen, as luckily the bonus will be avoided here for RME.
That definitely did look a bit tricky there for RME. It got definitely dicey, as Boba had the man advantage going into it with Colo and Fufu finding their respective picks. But they're able to decrease the pressure, and RME were just able to find the rest of the picks onto, especially catching off Fufu, Gigaberry. I feel like definitely secured that round for the side of RME.
Yeah, I mean, Fufu has been a player that we've seen stretch their legs a lot. They definitely are very confident taking the amount of space that you would kind of hope from a lurker. We see almost like Snorlax-esque speed and like pace too, the lurks.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we did mention that the other day with Boba playing, that Fufu likes doing the same type of thing that Snorlax did. And it's really interesting to see these Sentinel players just able to find the pressure and the picks to give their teams just slow victory. Because I think what Fufu did so well against Honeydew just a few days ago, we're just able to open up these rounds just slowly for them, especially on the attack side. So I'm really interested to see if Fufu can do it again, and then be able to give RME another, or sorry, give Boba another chance to win this match against RME.
Yeah, just a bit of a technical pause there. So we're about to get right back into it as we're confirming that all the players are good. And I mean, at this point, it's pretty actually kind of rough here for RME. Their economy is not doing too well after that last round. They took a lot of damage. They lost 3 players, and losing 3 players to a bonus round is always really rough. It means you're not going to have much in the way of a buy going into it, but they've opted to actually kind of save here. So playing the long game with the economy, it seems.
Yeah, definitely. They're going to look to do something with CeeLo and Gigaberries. Clays picks up an aggressive pick onto Rudy. As you see, Rudy likes to play up, and it could be very bad, as we know Clays is able to find these really nice picks onto people that play like that. And it looks like Fufu just picking up space again towards A. There are two players that he doesn't know about, as it looks like they might potentially go for an A hit.
Yeah, I mean, you were mentioning the aggression out of Rudy Rojo's earlier, and they've definitely been going for it a lot. I almost kind of want to see Rudy rein it in a little bit because it feels like there's been a few instances now of Rudy just kind of getting caught out, and definitely Boba seems to have a firm grasp on what they're doing. And Clay is as well talking about aggressive controllers, never one to shy away from an engagement.
Zelo picks up Fufu as it's back to a 4-4 in this round. They do have a free C site, and we know how strong Boba's C site is. They almost always went to this in their last match against Honeydew. So I'm really interested to see how RME is going to do on this retake, as they don't have the most amount of time as they rotate over from A, but we have seen that RME so far is able to put pressure on them.
Yeah, Nemesis is even on a sheriff, so they don't have all the firepower that they would possibly want. So CeeLo's going to opt to invest the flash here, and he even gets canceled out as the Nightfall comes out as well. Mr. Seed manages to pick up 2 kills, Tofu to trade it back, but this is starting to spiral. Fosi manages to wrestle 2 kills back though, and has managed to weather this storm as Tofu is also going to throw out the eye. Not spotting out Gigaberra, but there's no time. And off the back of the efforts of Fosi, this is going to be a 3rd round here for Boba.
That looked really dicey for a second. The slow flank from Mr. Seed, able to find 2. But as we know, Fosi, yes, has not been very loud so far in this game. But we are just at the beginning as he takes 3. Just being able to just secure the round for the side of Boba and just finding really nice picks to make sure that they don't go down.
Yeah, definitely. Now, luckily for RME, this is sort of what they were preparing for, with only really like half investing with some of their players last round. So they do have a bye going back into this one. Like I said, they were playing the long game with their economy. It seems like they were okay with losing that as long as they're able to reinvest into this next round.
Yeah, definitely. As we see an Outlaw come out from Mr. Seed, and we know you love that gun, but it doesn't look like it's going to find too much as they're all stacked towards C. But we do know that Boba likes to rotate between sites to pull the defenders everywhere, but it looks like that might be going for a C hit here.
I mean, C hit, and it's full armor on all the players of Boba as well, so that Outlaw is really going to struggle to find value, but Giga Perry, you are in so much more trouble than you think as the Rolling Thunder is going to come through. Giga Perry's just going to start to back off towards CT, and they're going to opt to play this for the retake. Rudy gets actually a first engagement on Fosi, and he gets bested, but Giga keeps it at a 4v4. Colo, though, with a great pick onto CeeLo. So now this is man advantage in the post plant for Boba.
Cover going out.
So you know this is Boba's strong suit. They love the man advantage. They like playing on site, and we have a slow flank coming from Fufu. So it is only a 3v3. Fufu might be going a bit too slow here. They look to engage with Nemesis.
Yeah, Nemesis is a player you really wanted to keep your eyes on, and this is a round that we need to see those kinds of players step up. Gets an engagement on Clay's, but actually a bit of a whip, so it's not going to be secured. Clay's and Tofu keeping things perfectly fine as Fufu is going to wrap it up. This is a very strong start for Boba.
Team Ace coming from the side of Boba. You might have thought Fufu's flank might have been a bit too slow, but Jiggly Tofu, a very stable player, was just able to make sure that they can't find too much ground. Clay's getting, I would say, a lucky pick on the Nemesis as we get a Rudy RME timeout.
Yeah, I mean, that's just rough for Nemesis. Guess just not fully ready for the position, maybe. We didn't... Also getting hit with the paranoia, obviously. Only had a few bullets to hit those shots, but with these duelist players that we're sort of highlighting, you know, getting a couple of free shots on a player like Clay's is, I mean, that's a pretty dream scenario, and to not be able to pick it up is really, really rough and kind of stifled the defensive retake.
Yeah, I think RME need to try and find some sort of footing in this game. Because from what I know about Nemesis, their duelist, They like to play a less super aggressive game and instead wants to focus more on team play, at least statistically wise. They like to play with their team, get a high KAST, and just make sure the team is able to win without doing plays that they will regret. And I feel like we haven't really been able to see that yet, as Boba is just putting on the pressure after each round over and over.
I mean, like you said, RME definitely seems to lean towards the team play, even going back to them opting to play a retake instead of holding firm on the side. Now, obviously, it was a Rolling Thunder coming through, so only so much that Gigaberry can do, but that's not the first time we've seen RME do this. I almost would like to see RME maybe try and stand strong in the sites a little bit more and rely on your individuals, because RME have done well so far. We know that they have some individual talent, and I'd just like to see them maybe try it a little bit more, because Boba seems so comfortable in these post-plant scenarios.
Yeah, Boba looking very comfortable as they're not giving Army anything to work with. Oh, Gigaberry finds Fufu though.
I mean, I said I wanted to see a little bit more out of the C-site hold, and Gigaberry chooses to turn up the aggression. Nemesis with a zinger onto Clays. That's going to remove the smokes from Boba, so that's going to hinder this take a little bit. Just trying to juggle the Vandal, making sure that it's not taken by a flank possibly. So very well decided there from the side of Boba, and Fossy's even going to get the opener here on the C site. They're going to pick up another one onto Nemesis as well. So now things have stabilized for Boba. This is now a great position for them to be sitting in.
RME might have found an angle for just a second. They were not being given anything, so they made their own space, and I think Nemesis and Gigaberry, I think, got a bit too overzealous, which really messed up this round for them, as it looks like Boba's just going to be able to find the rest of these picks. I mean, it's not terrible for damage, but you definitely want more right now.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it was a little bit shaky from Boba, and some great proactivity out of Army in the early round, but once again, once Boba is able to get towards this C site, it seems like there's just nothing anybody can do to stop them. We saw them absolutely barrel through Honeydew in their last matchup, and now they're doing the same thing to RME, a team that's in even better standing statistically. Up 2-0, but I mean, it's looking like Boba is just something else, man, on this C site.
Yeah, definitely. As I mean, Fosi loves the C site. We know so much how aggressive he can be. In his last series, he went 15-3 for first bloods and first deaths. You know, like, how aggressive and good he can be if he's given the space by his team and just open up these rounds, as he's so far done in the last couple. Because he's gone from 0-2 to 6-3, and he's able to just walk on. It's usually Tofu next on the site.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly why I wanted to keep my eyes on a player like Fosi, but Fufu is another player to keep your eyes on, as Fufu's going to find another lurk kill here. And it's just once again a terrible situation for RME, where they're forced to retake this. Fosi had an amazing angle, is going to catch CeeLo, and so now it's a 2v4 in this retake, all up to Nemesis and Gigaberry, two players that we're expecting a lot from, and Nemesis manages to pick up two, being wrapped around on the left side and not quite aware of it. Fufu even there as a double layer of protection, and this is going to be completely cleaned up for Boba.
Nemesis making that a bit shaky, but Fosi overall able to get a pick. Colo able to find Rudy, as I feel like I jinxed Rudy at this point, because all his aggressiveness feels like it's not paying off, as they're picked off again. And it's not looking good at the moment for the side of Army. They're forced back onto, it looks like they're going to either force, it looks like they might be forced, no, they're going for Nico now. And it could be 8-1 very shortly after this round, and I don't know what to say at this point.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you need a miracle for your RME. If you're RME, I mean, this is probably going to be another forfeit round. You're on an eco. Maybe you can make some weird stuff happen, but I would like to point out the pace of the ultimates for Boba here has been so good, because they've always had at least 1 to 2 ultimates for this C take for the past, it feels like 3 rounds. Lockdown going down here to just secure it once again. They even keep the showstopper up. So going into next round, they're gonna have another one. this is perfect ultimate economy here from the side of Boba.
Yeah, it's been really good for
they're gonna
Boba.
they're gonna have Rolling Thunder going into next with Colo as well. They can Rolling Thunder into the C site once again. They don't have to change up their game plan because their ultimate economy has been so well maintained.
I mean, yeah, like fosi able to find picks, Colo again. I mean, this round is completely over, and like you said before, every time they go to sleep, they had a Rolling Thunder. Next round, Nightfall. Next round, Lockdown. And now we're back to a Rolling Thunder, and it feels like they're just able to get sites. Exactly.
All these ultimates, I have never casted such perfect pacing on ultimates, to be honest. This has been really well. And like I said, I would love to see maybe these defenders sticking it out in the B site, or in the C site rather, trying to hold their ground. But when you've got Rolling Thunders, Nightfalls, Lockdowns coming through, that's not an option. This has been clinical from Boba.
Yeah, definitely. Boba's showing, I think, an even better performance right now as they did against Honeydew, but Fufu's going to find Rudy, and Rudy does find the pick onto him, but Colo gets it back as we get trades on A.
Yeah, definitely a lot of pace to this round. Trades going back and forth. It's going to equalize to a 2v2. Both sides taking heavy damages, but the Rolling Thunder on Colo is still up. Showstopper on Nemesis, so we could see this round get kind of weird. It depends on who's going to pull the trigger first, it feels like. One of these two players has to be proactive with their ult. They cannot be reactionary with them.
Yeah, definitely, as slowly coming up through A. Yeah, one's going to be playing Tree, and one's going to be playing A main, so it's going to be really interesting, as I don't think Army is expecting Colo where he is with how the site is planned at, but they do find him now, though.
Colo's position confirmed, and the wingman is even going to go out onto the spikes, so Jiggly Tofu has to peek out and give away his position. So Stopper and Rolling Thunder both spent, so it's going to force Colo to play a bit more passive here off the stun, and Colo's cleaned up, so this could be an RME round as it's a 2v1, but there's no time. The time has shut down. It's too slow from RME.
Yeah, that Rolling Thunder just completely buries RME. And Nemesis, he does find the ult kill, the showstopper kill onto Colo, but at what cost? You're already stunned, you're so slow. And then Boba and Jiggly Tofu is just able to get the pick onto the guy trying to defuse, and they have no time to defuse. So, I mean, RME just get another round and force them onto, it looks like, a force now.
I'm losing my mind a little bit because I was highlighting the strength of Boba a lot, but I mean that round RME is just, they're too slow, and even later getting off the defuse when you don't have time for it, you have to just trust your teammate to hold that. I know that Nemesis was, you know, sort of dealing with the tree player, but you can't get off the spike. You have to stick the defuse. CeeLo is going to try and get something going in this round. She's going to secure an opening pick, but Mr. Seed is lost as well, and that's even a Nightfall off the board. Fosi, though, taken out, and Colo is actually going to collect another, so this still ends up man advantage for Boba, even though they've lost their star player Fosi.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, I don't know if star player of Boba is Fosi, as Colo subbing looks like for Meow. And, oh, Clay's going to find a potential nemesis here as well.
Yeah, gets this lurk. It's just, Clay's a player that we know to play super aggressive and a lot of times on the front lines is actually choosing to just take up a lurk position. Tofu collects one more, so this is all over for RME. It's 9 rounds for Boba, and this is spiraling out of control so quickly.
This reminds me so much of the last series we watched with Boba and Honeydew, as, I mean, Boba were just able to dismantle them, and they're doing the exact same thing. I mean, nothing CeeLo can do. It's a bad situation for her, and they have 4 ultimates on the board, but it feels like they're never in a position to actually use them.
I mean, yes, this is RME's map pick as well. This is just going, granted, bit ambitious, I feel, for RME to pick Lotus when we saw Boba absolutely trounce Honeydew on Lotus last time, but
I need to blow
still, it's just, I mean, I almost wonder at this point if Colo is maybe just getting moved up to the main roster. You mentioned that we kind of saw Meow struggling a little bit in their previous matchup, and Colo's playing lights out right now. So I wonder if maybe this is just a roster move.
Yeah, it's just really crazy. As I mean, I do want to say Rudy just hasn't been able to find as much as I think they would like so far. Like they're playing aggressive, but they're not able to find the picks that I feel like they're trying to be confident to get, and I think it's really hindering their game.
I mean, there's a lot of things hindering the game of RME. And like I said, it's been lights out from Boba, but we've also seen an equal amount of blunders, dare I say, from RME. A bit disappointing for their map pick, to be honest, but perhaps it's not all over yet. We could see this go all 3 maps. Maybe they're prepared for a split. But right now, Lotus is looking like a lost cause as foofo. What a spray transfer onto the third of Nemesis, and fosi there to back it up as well. So Mr. Seed isn't even able to get away with more than one. Gigaberry left in a 1v4, a position that feels all too familiar. One of the oh no.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think this is a GG go next. We've seen this before. We know that teams are able to come back from this bad of a map and win the series, completely turning it around. Like the same thing happened with GFU and Lumi, where Lumi they couldn't find anything, and then eventually we're just able to just tear apart GFU to win their match.
Yeah, I mean, this is just brutal at this point. It's not going to be 13-0, but I mean, it feels so unlikely for RME to secure any of these rounds. Rudy is going to try his hand at something as the operator is picked up. So, excuse me, one of the first opening kills here for GME that isn't immediately answered back by the side of Boba. Yeah, whip shot there from Rudy is going to spell a very disastrous site take. Fosi even taking out Nemesis on the way in. So this is just so rough now for RME as you have multiple players tagged up, and it's once again a post plan. Nightfall is going to come in, so it's going to force a lot of these players to low HP, and the Thrash is going to come in once again. It's actually going to hit the detain. So for now, it is a 3v4. You have to add some pace to this if you are GME. And Sela is actually going to manage to get one, but Clay is a strong player in the clutch, has picked up one. It's pandemonium in the site as Wingman is just defusing, but Rudy, a player you said you wanted to see step up, brings out a 4K to secure another round for RME.
Yeah, that was looking really dangerous for RME there. You had another Nightfall come in, but the counter Nightfall from Mr. Seed was just able to give Rudy everything that he wants just to be able to get the 4K and just play through the smoke. He picks up the rifle after the sniper kill and was able to just secure the round for RME, making it a 10-2 half. But again, you gotta think for RME, we need this pistol or everything is over.
Yeah, and I mean, granted, Lotus, it does lend itself to being a little bit attacker-sided, but this feels like a bit much. I'm usually a bit of a dreamer, I'm a bit of a believer, but there's just been nothing from RME that has inspired confidence from me. They needed 2 ultimates just to be able to barely pull off that retake. It still took heroics out of Rudy. A 4K picked up, and it was brought down to 2 players. Nemesis even a little bit panicked in the satchel, and Foss is going to get a double with the paint shells. This is all falling apart for RME, and I think we're seeing Lotus wrapped up with a nice little bow.
Like I said before, GG, go next. Preserve your mental as, I mean, a great nade from Fosi, a few misdeeds with, I believe, Nemesis might have satcheled his team back or something. I'm not sure, but they just kind of stayed in the smoke and just spammed through it. And that paint shells were just able to pick up 2 kills as well, and just completely ruins the hopes for this map for RME.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned earlier this is a bit reminiscent of the Adrenaline not RME, the Adrenaline Luminescent game, or GFU versus Luminescent. My bad, sorry. Adrenaline was, I believe, Honeydew. But I mean, yeah, this is a bit reminiscent of that. A blowout on map 1, so we could possibly see the next maps go a bit differently, but Lotus is over, to be honest. This is it. We're just kind of waiting for the inevitable at this point.
In our 4th game of casting Lotus, we are finally not going to see a failed second round force.
Curse is broken. Can I finally play again without getting ecoed?
Alright, we're not gonna get fired now from our boss. Thank God.
I messaged Road. I was playing. It wasn't even Valorant. I was playing CS. The curse carried over. I was messaging Road because I was playing some CS, and both rounds we won pistol. Both rounds we got full ecoed, and I messaged Rose about it. Apparently it's been happening to him as well in his own pub games. So please let this be the break of the curse at this point.
We can finally go home to our families. As we see them push on the site, aggressive from Rudy, and falls down again.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, this is over. There's not much left to cast here. A great Lotus from Boba. Even if they lose a few rounds here or there, this is a nigh impossible comeback, dare I say. It's just looked way too strong for Boba in every aspect.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, we've been seeing a lot of very dominant maps from these teams, but we know that everything can change with one other map. We know after these pauses and minutes pass when they talk to their team afterwards that these people can come out totally different in a separate game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping for a much closer split. And I mean, RME is actually managing to pick up this round. Like I said, even with them getting this round, it still feels like they are just delaying the inevitable. So my hope is that split is a bit more of a tight match than this one.
Yeah, definitely. I want to see more from them. I want to see more of what I was promised, because we haven't really been able to see much, because the only game that has been streamed is the one against New Jeans, and they dominated them. But I feel like New Jeans may be a lower level team, so I want to be able to see RME match up against some of these higher ranked ones to see where they stand in the standings.
Placing swamp grenade. Placing alarm bot.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, actually, I believe.
There.
No, I mean,
Careful
push
here.
back onto a force, right? It's a Bulldog, an Ares, some light armor on the side of Boba here, so they won't have full artillery. They're just trying to wrap this up. Part of me would almost actually kind of want them to take the eco here to make sure that they have a full buy and try and wrap this up, but it seems like they want to keep the pressure up. Still not all the rifles here for the side of RME as well, so I guess Boba feeling like they have a very fair shot into this round. Wouldn't blame them. They're surely playing with a lot of confidence. Rudy Rojo's, though, still having this confidence to push forward and going for such an aggressive TP play, and actually manages to slip the net. He gets 2 onto Fufu and Colo. Very interesting play, and that's what we've been wanting to see out of Rudy, getting the timing that he needed for that.
Yeah, like I was talking before, Rudy can make those plays, and it can either work or go terribly, and right there, it did really well.
Yeah, it's sort of the duality of those aggressive players. They can make some really interesting miracle plays happen, but when they're not going well, it just feels so brutal. As CeeLo, she's gonna clean up the last kill. So now it's at least 4 secured here for RME. A bit of a confidence booster going into split, maybe a little bit warmed up. The blood's flowing.
I mean, that's what we saw a couple times ago with GFU and Lumi. They were able to get a lot. They played a lot better towards the end of their first game after being dominated. We saw some glimpses, and then they completely took over. So I wonder if CeeLo can do the same type of thing, because she's shown some actually pretty good things, but the team just hasn't given her much.
Yeah, I mean, looking to pick up a couple of more rounds maybe, but plays just turning up the aggression with that Stinger. Traded back, but has set up at least a even man count in this eco. for the side of Boba, so maybe they can make a little bit of magic happen here, as it looks like the attack might be rotating into the B site or perhaps the C as well, but there's some trap plays actually set up for this. I don't know if they'll clear Fufu. Only a classic, so... Oh, it is. Oh, what a shot from Mr. Seed. They did get full cleared, but I didn't expect something that crispy.
Satchel out.
Mr. Seed just knows, just expects this by now from Boba, and was completely correct. They put on the site, and Jigglytofu does find one.
Yeah, Tofu picking up one, so this could be where we see this ending possibly, as Tofu gets another one onto Mr. Seed. It's going to be up to Nemesis, but he's only good for one, and Colo cleans it up. Put him on the main roster.
That was crazy from Colo, just showing what you can do with Breach and just find some crispy sheriff shots. And I mean, a thrifty coming out from Boba, we've seen plenty of those, as I think we're going to give Colo that man of the match.
Yeah, we're going to be pulling someone in for an interview here after that map to ask a couple of questions. Looks like it's going to be our good friend Fosi joining us once again.
I can interview.
Yeah, hello Fosi. Nice to talk to you again.
Yo, what's up?
Is it Fosi or Fosi? I've heard it two different ways so far.
I don't care, bro. It can be both ways.
Okay. I like Fosi a little bit more personally. All right. So coming out of another Lotus match that is extremely dominant for you guys, how you feeling?
Oh, brother, our Lotus is like top tier.
Yeah, were you a little bit surprised when RME picked Lotus into you after your dominant performance against Honeydew on it?
Yeah, we're surprised. It's like poking the giant, you know what I mean? Like we're pretty good on Lotus.
Yeah, definitely.
I
It's
wanted
our,
to
most
ask.
dominant map.
Sorry, I wanted to ask: is Colo a sub in for Meow?
Yeah, he's our main sub.
Okay, he played phenomenally. How do you feel about his performance coming into his first match?
Oh yeah, no, he's great. He's a former CS player that came to Valorant, so obviously his aim's there. We just had to teach him how to use his util, and it was just perfect from there.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of leads into my question. A great performance from Colo, and we saw Meow actually struggling a little bit in your guys' previous match, lagging a bit behind in terms of a lot of the kills department. So, Colo to main, maybe?
I mean, yeah, that was what we wanted. We did want him on the main, but John he's not free all the time. He's only free on weekends, which is when our games are.
Gotcha,
So we
gotcha.
can't practice with him as much. We're kind of using this match as like a practice.
I mean,
Fair
it's
enough.
certainly going very well. I mean, that's about it for questions from me. Anything more from my good friend Rhodes here?
Coming into the game, I don't know if you noticed, but both of your teams, RME and Boba, are undefeated. Does that put any pressure on you guys coming into a match?
Oh nah, bruh. Definitely not. I'm just a little tired because I just woke up a couple
Fair
fucking
enough.
minutes ago.
All
So just
right.
let me warm up and I'll be back. Don't even worry.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've seen what you can do when you're warmed up, but we are going to go ahead and let you get back to your team so you guys can start getting ready for split. Thank you for joining us. Always a pleasure having you, Fossey.
Thank you, thank you.
And we will be throwing it to a quick break. We will be back in about 5-ish minutes for split.